That was pretty crappy ult. Okay. Okay. So my pathing was a little bit... Oh, hello. I didn't see you sitting there. Oh, this? Oh, this is nothing. I'm going to show you how to do this right after the intro. What is going on, guys? Hunter Medusa here, bringing you a brand new video. Today we are going to be going over how to play Cassiopeia. I'm going to try something a little new, a little different, added to the collection of new things that I'm trying, and I'm going to kind of go over hopefully every champion in League of Legends to a specific degree. Now, what I'm hoping what will start to happen is this maybe starts to gain some popularity, is that you guys will then decide which champions I go over next and basically go over the basics and how to play them effectively. So with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So Cassiopeia, the very Cobra commander of Summoner's Rift. I can't believe I just used that reference. Okay, but like seriously, she is one of the strongest champions in the game at any given point. That may not be believable if you look at it statistically, but honestly, in the right player's hands, she will dominate any matchup. She will dominate if you can do it properly. And just the amount of utility that her kit brings to the table and the amount of kiting ability that she has and team play that she has with her ultimate, all of this is just, it's so great to be utilized. And a lot of people would disagree with me when I say this, but I think that she has one of the best passives in the game, and you're gonna find out what that is in just a second. Okay, so me explaining a little bit about how strong I think she is and how viable she is, which is all the time. Let's jump right into it. So Cassiopeia's passive. Now what this is essentially, I'm not gonna make you guys read anything. I'll put it on screen if you do care to read it, but I'll just kind of go over it in general. But her passive basically makes it so she doesn't have to buy boots. Now a lot of people do hate this because they feel that her passive could be used in a different way. They could give her another passive, all that sort of thing, but it really ties in really well with her character. I mean, she's a snake, she doesn't have feet, so there's no reason for her to have boots, right? Because she'd have nowhere to put them. So that also opens up opportunity for you to have another item in your inventory that you wouldn't have to sell your boots to get if you were to get to late game. So basic passive, pretty easy to understand. Now her Q, Noxious Gas. Now this is just a point and click bubble that as it bursts, you're kind of seeing it on screen as well, but as it bursts, it does damage over time. Not too crazy, but once you start to get it to higher levels and once you start to get some damage items, it really starts to hurt and it really starts to tick down. And with some cooldown reduction, you're actually able to like build that damage pretty heavily, especially when you get into items and you get a Rylai's, they're slow forever. And with her Q, you can just keep slowing them until the point you can use your Twin Fang. Now, the Q does actually have a small passive. That passive is if she's able to land a Q on a champion, she actually does speed up a little bit. I believe it's for 3 seconds. I haven't checked. You'll be able to see it on screen. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. With that speed up and with the ability to, so with that speed up, if you do land your Noxious Blast, you're able to just go in and get as many Twin Fangs down as you can, which makes her one of the craziest duelist champs and one of the craziest kiters, because even if she's being chased, as you guys saw a second ago, she's able to gain that movement speed to get away. So a lot of times you'll see experienced Cassiopeias dropping Noxious Blasts behind them as they're running to try to get away because it does speed them up. Now, onto her W. This is going to be called Miasma. This is going to be a cone that you'll shoot out that will basically be poisonous. Now the poison doesn't carry over to the champion if they step off of it, but while they're on it, it does poison them as well as give them a slow buff as well as ground them. So they're not able to flash away, use any sort of dash, any sort of leap, anything. They're stuck in that miasma until they get off. It's one that I normally max last, and we'll get to maxing your abilities in a little bit, but great in certain situations, but I don't find myself using it a whole lot. So moving into E, Twin Fangs. Now this is going to be an interesting ability. So it does a flat amount of damage if the target is not poisoned it's not a lot of damage. It's very minimal damage. I think in the early games, her auto attacks actually do more damage than her Twin Fangs do until you start to get items and that sort of thing. Now, with that being said, if you're able to get a kill on a minion or on a champion, it actually refunds the mana. So if you guys have maybe played Annie before, you would know that when you kill an enemy or kill a minion with her Q, the mana is refunded. Same thing with Cassiopeia. Once she gets a kill with it, it's refunded. So you'll see a lot of people using her E to farm because it's very quick cast, very quick cast. So if you can auto attack and then E immediately after it on a low health minion, you'll be able to get damage. You'll be able to wave clear faster in the early phases, as well as get your mana refunded, which kind of keeps you healthy in lane because Cassiopeia is a mana soaking machine. She goes through mana so fast in the early phases. So moving on to her R, this is going to be a very large cone that will spread out, and everybody that is caught in it will be turned to stone and stunned for a short period of time. Now, one thing that's interesting is if they do turn away from you as you ult, it does not stun them, but it does slow them down by a large amount. Now, it does also apply toxin, so you can immediately start using your E. You can drop your Noxious Blast to get that even more damage down, and then Twin Fang. It really doesn't matter, whatever is your preferred. I like to ult, drop a miasma on top of them so that when they get out of their stun, they can't go anywhere. Throw a few Noxious Blasts and Twin Fang like you have, like press your E button faster than you've ever, I mean harder than when you're playing Katarina. You just smash the E button because when you get CDR, that has virtually no cooldown. Okay, so I wanted to put some good gameplay here on the screen for you guys so you guys could kind of see what I'm talking about as it's going on. And I put that clip at the beginning so that you guys could kind of understand that she is incredibly good at kiting. With all of the speed that she has built into her kit, she is able to kite like no other. And I forgot to mention one thing now that I'm realizing, her E actually heals her for a flat amount, as well as I believe it's 20% of her AP and a few other numbers mixed in. So she heals so much damage. So that's why you see a lot of cast mains, even if they get into a duel or a fight, like you saw at the very beginning, you saw me, Cassiopeia, running with a sliver of health, running away from Lilia, who was full health, and I was actually able to kill her because having that Twin Fang be able to heal me, even just the slightest, even in the early game, having that much healing is so easy. Okay, so now that we've gone through the abilities, how do you want to play Cassiopeia? Well, Cassiopeia is very hard to play in the beginning. She doesn't have a lot of damage, and like I said earlier, she goes through mana like it's the end of the world. I mean, she will go through her mana so fast. So one thing that you've really got to be good with and understand is that when it comes to playing in the early game, you want to try and last hit with your E as much as you can, especially when you get your tier, which we'll talk about in a second. Being able to just get to the late game as fast as possible is key, and being able to farm. Now, when I say be aggressive, I mean drop a Q, and if it hits the champion, run up to him and hit him with a few, maybe 2 or 3 Twin Fangs to really put some damage on early, because that's the only damage you have. But from levels 1 through 5, you don't have an escape. So you have to be aggressive and be really wary of where the enemy jungle is, or else you're not gonna be able to CS because they're gonna push you under turret. You're gonna lose out on a lot of money. And Cass is an absolute menace when it comes to farming. If you don't have 300 farm at the end of a 30-minute game, you did something wrong. Okay, I'm joking. It takes a lot to get to 300 CS. But again, aggressive, rotate mid and bot as often as you can to maybe help them out, because if you're getting very fed being aggressive in your lane, go help out the other lanes that maybe aren't doing so well. So items, there are going to be 3 items that I recommend, and the rest is up to you. It's very situational, but Morellonomicon is going to be key, especially if you're playing into a lot of tanks. It will offer so much damage. You'll be able to shred through them. Just absolutely shred. Number 2, Archangel's Staff. It is so important that in the early game you get a tier. I don't know how many times I can say it, and I'm just going to say it and say it and say it. She is so heavy on mana, so you need to be able to just stack as much mana as you can, getting the tier first item. I don't even buy a Doran's Ring. I always go with a Sapphire Crystal early game so that I can go straight to tier, because her damage will come eventually. If she's not very strong early game, there's no reason to try and force her to be strong. Just sit back, bide your time, and you'll be strong towards the end of the game. The third item is going to be Rylai's Crystal Scepter. This is going to be a lifesaver when it comes to at the later game and you're maybe trying to run somebody down or you're trying to get away. Throwing your miasma out behind you, offering like an 85% slow or whatever it was, is going to be fantastic for you. It's going to be a scapegoat, or it's going to be the difference between a win and a loss in a team fight because of how it works. Okay, so if there's one thing that you guys take from how to play Cassiopeia, one thing before I end the video, use your ultimate. Okay, don't wait for that perfect moment to get a 5-man ult. Don't wait for the perfect moment for the perfect getaway. Just use it. It's gonna come back. If it's a 1v1 situation, use it. Go for the kill. Be aggressive. If maybe it's a 3v1 and everybody else is either dead or is on opposite sides of the map, use it. Go for the kill. Don't just save it and wait for those perfect moments. I'm telling you, they'll never come, and you'll maybe use your ult 3 or 4 times. I think I've used it like 7 so far. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure which footage I'm using. But anyway, guys, if you guys do enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like down below as well as a comment. Number 1, let me know if this helped you or maybe made you a little more confident on playing Cassiopeia. And number 2, leave a comment down below on which champion you'd like me to dive into next. I've been playing this in Season 5. I've played just about every champion that there is for quite a while. I think my mastery score has hit like 700. Not to brag. Anyway, guys, if you would subscribe, it lets me know that you guys do enjoy the videos that I make and allows me to keep making them for you. So that would be much appreciated. Well, now, with that being said, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And thank you for joining the Stone Army.